Alright, so to save people the trouble, remember this isn't a basic waving video. This is a video about the elbow rotation method and isolation points. Elbow rotation method. This is what it looks like. Now, the elbow rotation method and the basic method of waving has basically one difference. It's just the elbow in the basic wave pops all the way out, while in the elbow rotation method it just twists and just points upward to the sky. An illusional difference, the basic wave method gives a really large feel to it, like it's really going up. You actually see the wave. In the elbow rotation method, the illusion comes from the change of shadow. Since your elbow changes position, light hits it differently and therefore changes the shadow, which gives us the whole illusion look when you do the wave. Now to drill this method, you're going to want to put your hand on the wall or anything you can grab onto and just start twisting. Just keep twisting your elbow like this for both of your arms in order to get the feel for it. Now we're placing our hand on a wall because it's practice to keep the isolation in your hand. You can just twist your hand all the way, your elbow will pop out like it's supposed to in the elbow rotation method, but your hand will be in a different position. This is to practice keeping that isolation right there. And once you get the hang of keeping the isolation and the feel of the elbow rotation method, then you actually put it in the actual process of a wave. So in a basic wave, you have 1, 2, 3. On that third part right there, instead of popping your elbow all the way out, you just replace it with a rotation instead of actually going out. Now, a little cheat for the elbow rotation method is popping your shoulder forward. When you pop your shoulder forward, it does help you rotate your elbow a lot better. It's a little cheat and it's a little tip thing, but it doesn't substitute for actual practice of when you just rotate your elbow up against the wall, because that does help you with isolation as well. Now, the cheat also does help in other ways, as in during a wave, the shoulder is the where the wave goes to right after the elbow. So after it goes to your elbow, it goes to your shoulder and then your chest. So it goes hand in hand basically. Examples of it up close. This is the elbow rotation, then into the shoulder. So it's just learning to pop it forward. So these are just pop it forward, and then your elbow should come along with it. Now the elbow rotation does help you smooth out your wave, but that doesn't mean you can't do the basic form of the wave. If anything, after you learn the elbow rotation, it also helps you with accenting your waves. If you want people to actually see your waves from far away, you should use the first method that you learned. But if you already know the elbow rotation with that method, you can use them together. And then it has an even, more smooth-like feel. You can use weird combinations and then your waves can look even better, so to speak. The next thing we're going to talk about is not really a tutorial, it's more of a concept of smoothing out your waves. Now the first part is isolations, keeping your waves isolated. It's a basic foundation that a lot of people tend to skip, but you just have to, the only thing you really have to do is just keep it in a straight line. If you use the basic wave method, keep your wave in a straight line, let it go through on that straight line. If you use elbow rotation, keep it in a straight line, let your wave go through in a straight line. Now the reason why this is a foundation is because if you don't learn to keep your waves isolated, your waves start looking really sloppy when you start bringing it down and all over the place. I mean, we've all seen this with people trying to imitate waves, like going on TV and stuff, and then they don't really know how to do a wave and they just start going all over the place. So remember, keep the isolation, keep one straight line, one point, drill that, and then from there, when you actually learn it, you'll get what I mean by just being able to change the position of your waves and still keeping that whole isolation look. Now the second portion is finishing your waves. A lot of people skip parts of waves, like they skip their fingers and just go into your hand, which is alright if you're new, but people tend to just bypass that whole basic mechanic right there. So they skip that and then they just go in there, or they use their fingers but they skip their elbow and it just suddenly goes into their chest and all over the place. So don't skip waves, don't skip parts of waves. Drill every single portion of the wave And then if you keep drilling that foundation, I guarantee your wave will start looking better.
More on isolation points. Waving still looks good without the isolation points. Like, experienced wavers can still make them look good. This tutorial is just addressed to the individuals or group of individuals that have skipped that part of the process or never comprehended the whole concept of a wave. Since it's a straight line with a, like a wave going through it, that there has to be a straight line. There has to be an isolation point.
As a review of what we learned, remember the elbow rotation method. Just keep drilling this, and when you get used to that, you go into the whole step process 1, 2, 3, 4, where you actually use your elbow rotation. Isolation points, remember, keep a straight line. Once you learn how to do the straight line, you can bring your waves, however you want it, but you just gotta keep that isolation. Next is don't skip any parts of the wave, let your wave finish. Don't skip your hand and suddenly just go into your chest. Always remember each portion of the wave, your fingers, your knuckles, your wrist, your elbow, your shoulder, your chest, and that's arm waves for now. But you keep practicing, just keep drilling it, keep on going. And there are a whole lot more concepts of making your waves look smoother, but they all come with your practice. Like, it'll click in your head, you'll just kind of learn it. So just keep practicing. That's all there really is to it for the whole elbow rotation and isolation points for this tutorial. If I left anything out, or if you have any questions about the whole waving thing, I'll just leave a comment or give me a private message. I'll get back to it as soon as I can. My waving's not perfect still. I'm still learning also, like everyone else, so peace.